The evolution of digital technologies is transforming the way people connect and interact with each other and the world around them. Innovation is empowering people to play more active roles in many fields of society, and marketing is definitely one of these. And this is not happening just in consumers' homes or at their desks. It's now everywhere. Technology alone is not enough. We have to comprehend how these new developments are affecting people. That's all of us.
Does it affect the way we communicate? Yes. There are literally no boundaries anymore to what, how and where consumers can do or connect to each other. Today, consumers are no longer audience, but they are also curators, producers, or participators of every aspect of their lives.
Make people engage is not easy. You need to be interesting. Every relationship you have, you need to apply value to the other.
Onde estão meus amigos? Para onde eu vou hoje? Quem quer almoçar comigo?
Does it change the way people organize and congregate? What do you think? People are making amazing things happen.
Does it influence our identities? You bet. People want to build or express their passions, their ideology, or simply share experiences.
Não, eu tenho certeza que minha vida parece mais interessante no Facebook e no Instagram do que realmente é. Porque são todas as fotos muito legais e muito coloridas, e fazendo poses e dançando. Então acho que tem esse glamour extra.
This context of a more empowered, vocal and participative consumer requires we evolve the way we plan and execute marketing.
But we can't just walk into this environment using the same speech used in the past to communicate ideas. Don Draper techniques may no longer be sufficient.
What you call love was invented by guys like me to sell nylons.
Think about some recent successful marketing campaigns you remember, like Hunter Shoots a Bear from Tipex, The Old Spice Man, or TNT's push to add drama. How many of those did you watch through television? Remember when it was said, "The revolution will not be televised"? Boy, they were right. The revolution will not be televised. It will be streamed. It will reach consumers through rich, relevant, useful content. Content that connects our brands with people.
Because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised.
So, evolving the way we study and understand our consumers and shoppers is a must, but still not sufficient, as we need to create ways to connect and access these individuals where they are, and always in a relevant way. Taking a closer look at the brands that are outperforming business-wise and in the way they do communications, we have identified 6 key areas of evolution for the next 3 to 4 years. And they are search, social, content, mobile, media, and e-commerce. In FY14, we will be focusing in 3 of these areas.
It's overwhelming the amount of stimulus we are surrounded by these days. Brands and services popping up all the time at the same time. Sometimes with similar messages, trying to cut through this massive ocean of alternatives, which is making us feel the need to be more and more in control of what we connect and engage with. Reflect for a minute. How many times a day do you search online for something?
Be found is a must. Searches for alcoholic-related terms are increasing annually, reaching staggering 300+ million searches in the past 12 months in LA&C. Imagine all the effort we do year after year to reach, recruit, and engage our consumers or shoppers out there. Now, imagine that there are 300 million desires to be attended hanging out there. Some met, some unattended. But to be found is still not enough. We need to ensure we are always at the service of consumers or shoppers' searches, offering relevant information, services, utilities, or entertainment. But what do we need to grab hold of these potential searches? We need to be found.
Being at the first page is, if we're talking the search results as a digital shelf, is critical as it's critical for brands to be on the top space on the supermarket shelf.
And to take full advantage of this great opportunity to be on top of rankings, we have to understand how to get there. What can we do to improve our brand searchability?
Pues siempre coloco palabras llave en el buscador y por lo general son los primeros links que son los más usados.
It's also important to understand the impact a good search strategy has on our brand strategy. Does it increase brand reputation? Does it impact sales?
Absolutely yes. Google is a performance-based platform and works for brands, for the brand equity building, and for performance and sales.
Hey, how are you feeling about that? Great, great. Now, let's check the next area of transformation. Jimmy, over to you, mate.
Obrigado, Barca. Search is very interesting, but now we're getting to the good stuff. Social networks have existed since the beginning of time, so no real news there. Harley-Davidson bikers have been getting together for over 100 years. People form and sustain social networks based on a common interest. So then, what has changed?
Not much has changed in the what happens. Living in communities is what we humans do. What has changed is how it happens. People now can connect, powered by digital technologies, sharing their passions or beliefs, expressing or reinforcing their identities, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days from anywhere in the world. But we already knew that the real question is where and how do brands fit in?
Brands have an important role because, people, we love brands. We use brands, we eat brands, we watch brands, we stay in contact with brands. Brands are part of our identity. So when I say I drink this, I eat that, I like this, means a lot about me.
With our shift to purpose-driven brands, the role and opportunity is huge. We have the perfect environment through a common interest to bring our brand purposes to life, engaging in a relevant way, offering utilities or content, fueling passions or ideologies. Brands have always had to keep up with consumer behaviors and trends, but now it must be fluid and real-time to keep up with the changes. We have to understand our consumers beyond demographics. We have to commit to learn what elements connect our consumers.
As marcas são dirigidas por pessoas e elas são humanas, entendeu? E precisa ter verdade. Essa é a minha verdade. Tem várias pessoas que têm várias outras verdades. Quanto mais as marcas se aproximarem de uma verdade que nem essa, mais eu vou admirar.
On social networks, people expect to engage with other people on a more personal level. People have opinions, convictions, and they express them to manifest their identity. It is important that as brands, we start having and expressing a point of view about socially relevant themes. For brands to become active and accepted participants, they must get personal. They must be more human.
Make people engage is not easy. You need to be interesting. Every relationship you have, you need to apply value to the other.
GoPro uses Facebook as a place for consumers, for users to share their experiences on extreme sports. And they can basically share what they've done on the weekend and what's the latest radical thing they did. And they have a right space to share that and to feel like a hero.
Success in consumer engagement means conversations are happening between brands and consumers, but most importantly, between consumers, since this is the first sign of real and powerful community a brand can leverage.
Nike is doing a great work by building apps and content for its consumers to have a stronger experience with their product and with sports. Oreo, for example, is a very strong brand on Facebook, and they put side by side on the table the legal team, the agency team, and the brand manager, and they provide compelling content and that has high engagement rates.
Brilliant. Ready to step change the way we do marketing and lead a real transformation in this area? Of course you are. Now let's catch up with Eugenio in the content studio.
Content is the heart and soul of engagement. It is what starts conversations and fuels social and search. It attracts and maintains consumers in communities, and it's no longer just advertising.
And I think consumers expect now that if brands are going to become part of their lives, then the types of content that they receive from brands need to be relevant, need to be useful, need to be entertaining, and really need to have currency in their lives, to give them something to talk about and something to share, and help them learn more about the brand and what that brand stands for, rather than just traditional brand and product-led advertising.
But before we check what is our ambition for content, this is where Diageo is now in brand content maturity.
We can just keep advertising out of our lives now. So the job for an advertiser is to make something that people want, that is welcome to their lives. I think there was a time when you could just make a song and have it play over and over and over again at somebody, and that would be advertising, even if the people hated it, you know. And I don't think we can do that anymore. We have to make things people want.
We have a tough competition when it comes to creating content. Everybody out there. With help of accessible content publishing platforms empowered by new technologies, consumers also became content producers and distributors.
Não dá para trabalhar conteúdo por job. Tem que ser no mínimo compromisso de médio prazo, à medida que você está jogando alguma coisa no mundo para colher outra de volta.
Through content, people express their identity. They tell stories. Every day, millions of pieces of user-generated content are being produced, published, and shared.
But essentially, great content is about great social currency. What good content does is it creates social currency. It gets people talking, it creates dialogue.
If content today goes beyond TV ads and it's consumed every day, brands need to plan for content distribution, aiming to be always on as producers or curators, boosting social relevance. Think hard on how to distribute content before producing it.
Awesome! So, how are you feeling? Hope as excited and motivated as I am, in order to transform the way that we engage with our consumers.
Now imagine if we are now 1 year in the future. Welcome to 2014. Everything we've discussed and planned for changing the way we do marketing is totally implemented and is fully working with extraordinary results. Imagine if every day, anytime, more and more people are finding our brands, content, and platforms online. We've captured 10% of the 300 million consumer searches that happened across Latin America and Caribbean. Imagine all our brands having clear social strategies in place aligned with their brand purposes. We know and understand the social spaces where our consumers are talking and interacting, and we are behaving fluidly with them, contributing to and stimulating conversations. Imagine if we were able to double our consumer engagement levels, building and sustaining social communities where people, connected by common interests, linked to our brand purposes, are using our social platforms as utilities for sharing experiences and to express ideas. Imagine if, through smart content and storytelling, we are able to fuel conversations out there. We are producing and distributing at scale a stream of inspiring, entertaining, rich, and sometimes provoking content tailored around our brands and, but most of all, around consumers' interests. Imagine if, in terms of content excellence, we are not stretching anymore. Now we walk. We now fully understand the elements that connect people and the link with our brand purposes. Now, imagine if all this is possible, and you, yes, you, can make all this come true. How are you feeling? Would you like to be in this world